Hey guys, it's Cindy over at paper.old.new. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me. God bless you for being here, and this is the third time I'm going to try and film this video. My camera keeps cutting out on me, or the program that I'm using to film keeps freezing, and when it does that, I lose the video because it crashes and I don't get the footage, so I have no way to recover it. So this will be the third time. Now, luckily, this one crashed a little sooner, so I'm going to try and meld together what I've done and not start completely over from scratch. So what I lost, I'm going to show you. Just to let you know, I got this. This was inspired from a new creator that I found. Her name is Olexy, and Berry Little Paper. I keep saying that, and I'm pretty sure it's right. I will be linking her channel in the description box below, and hopefully the video that inspired this. I am going to show you, this is what we're making. So this was her original version. So you have this little tuck on the outside. So this is your front, and you can see that it's kind of staggered. Makes it really cute. This only takes one file folder, by the way. And then you're going to have, we've got a flip up here. This is covered but not completely finished. So we have a flip up here. And then this is kind of a tall tuck. So it tucks on the bottom and on the top. So you can tuck something tall in there. And then you can tuck something smaller under here. And I need to fix that. The way I covered it, I need to fix it. Okay. And then you've got two pockets here. And we've got a flip down on this side. And then that's the back. Now, the way this goes together is kind of an accordion. So this part glues together with a top-loading pocket. All right. Then I made an attempt. I said, well, what happens if I cover the file folder before I put it together? And I did this one. What I discovered was, okay, so I have the tuck on the front and the flip up. Again, this one isn't totally finished. I've got the double tuck here. I've got the double pocket and the flip down, which keeps getting... Something is sticking. That maybe... Sorry, every time I open that, it's stuck, and I can't... Anyway, and I put a tuck on it, which was a little different. And then because of the way I scored it, because I had already covered the file folders, and then I tried to score them, and through 2 layers of paper and glue, and you score the file folder folded, so it's like 6 layers that I was trying to score through, and this is just scrapbook paper, it's not cardstock. This wasn't perfectly even, so I put gussets in the side, and I made this one I made this back a big pocket, okay? And my thought for that was, if you make this and you have all of these flips and flaps and pockets to tuck things in, then back here you could put like a single signature, simple journal tucked in this pocket, and then you'd have a little journal with, you know, like that. Okay, so that was my alteration of this project. And I will say again, this is why I love file folder projects. They're very, very versatile. So what I'm going to show you is the scoring for this project. I do want to explain. Okay, once again, I'm trying to figure out, this being the third time I've done it, the easiest way to explain this. This bottom pocket for my file folders comes out to be about 2 1/8 inch. For an 11 3/4, mine is just short of 11 3/4, it would come out to 2 1/4 inches. And then this one is 2 inches. When you watch her video, she has a different scoreboard than I do. Her scoreboard starts over here, 0, 1, 2, 3, and counts this way, because she has a cutter on the side. Okay? So when she scores hers, she butts it up over here and she says, okay, score. And you can, I could butt it up against the 12 and say, okay, score 2 inches in this direction, and then figure out what 9.5 would be over here. If you don't care if your wide pocket is at the top, this doesn't matter. Do it however you want. I want my wide pocket on the bottom, so I flip my file folder over and do my scoring backwards from what she did. And that gives me the bottom one being about 1/4 inch wider than the top one. So just throwing that out there if you are interested. And I covered up my stylus with my decorative paper. Okay. I also made a little undecorated base the last time to show you how it's made completely from that. But we're going to try something a little bit different. So now we're going to score the file folder the way you're supposed to score it. So it's going to be 2 inches this way. We're going to go 2 inches. And we're going to go 9.5 inches. Okay, so those are our, and then we're going to turn it this way and we're going to score it at 4.5. All right, so that's all of our scoring. So let me move this out of the way. All right, and basically what you're going to do is you want all these flaps, because you've got all these flaps, right? You want all these flaps to be free. Now, I will say this. On Alyssa's video, she just cut right up the middle of her score line, and that seemed to work fine for her. So, I mean, if you want to do it that way, you just cut right up these score lines, top and bottom, just to this line. So you just cut from here down and from here up. Okay, what I like to do is cut on either side of the score line and take out a sliver so there's no interference. So basically what I do is I take my file folder and I line this up along one side of the score line. Like so. And I cut it. So I would cut right along here, just to this score line, and then I would start at that score line and I would cut right along here. Okay? And I would go down and I would do this side of all the score lines. Then I flip the file folder over and I cut on this side of all the score lines. Line it up. The closer you can get to the score line and the thinner the sliver, you still won't catch, but you won't have any gaps. So try and make that as thin as possible. Now, I don't want to do another one. I have these two and that one, and then the one I started in the last version of this video. So having explained to you about cutting out the score line. So you're going to cut here, here, and here. Get rid of all the score lines. Okay? So on this one, I've done that. All right? So you see all the little gaps where I've cut the score lines out. All right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover each panel of the folder with a different piece of paper. So this panel, and each time I cover, I cut out. So I cut out all around, and I did that. I decided this is the front of my journal, so I decided which one I wanted my front paper to be, and I covered this panel. Okay? That's what I did, and then my video froze on me. So, here we are. And I'm hoping that we can make it through this time. So, let me think. Before the second time it crashed, I did a whole bunch of checking of different programs and updates and all this kind of stuff, so I forgot where I was. So give me just a second. Let me figure out what I wanted to do and how I want to explain this to you, and then we'll move on from there. So just give me 1 second. Okay. So basically, the way you look at this is some of these get folded. So this gets folded up this way, but these all get folded down, all right, or up. So if I don't want to cover anything that's not going to be seen, because these are going to get glued down. This is the page where you have that side tuck that's tall. And this one is a flip up, but this gets covered. Okay, so the only thing I really need to cover is this one. So if you think about it before you do it, you can cover this whole thing and not... Also, this gets glued together. Now, if I decide I like the gusset version of this, where I have this gusset in here, it's nice to line it, so I'm okay with this. It's nice to line it because you can see that pocket. You can see inside that pocket. I don't know if you can see that if I tilt it. So that's nice to line. If you're just going to glue it together as a flat pocket, you really can't see in there all that much. So you might not want to go this far with your paper. Okay, now, having said all that, I'm trying to think about what these are. These all fold in, and this one gets cut off and turned around and used as a pocket down here. Okay, so for this one, all of the outside of the flaps is going to be seen. And I think I decided that the back of the book, how did I decide I wanted to do this? I just told you I was going to think about it and then come back and see you, and then I'm pondering again, because I'm not sure if what I was thinking I want to do now. I think I want this to be pink. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in here, and I only have to go up to this crease. All right, like that. I only have to go that far, because remember, these are going to get folded down, and I don't need the insides of those. So the only one of these flaps that the inside needs to be glued to is this one. So let's go ahead and glue everywhere we need to glue. We'll put glue everywhere we need to glue. I'm trying to give myself a little less bulk on the folding, if I can, because the last time it created some issues, and I'm hoping to avoid some of those issues. So we're going to go ahead and do this. And I'm trying to think if there's any reason I would want different paper in here while I'm gluing. Because there's a piece of me that thinks that I should put the pink on the back so that it becomes part of the gusset pocket to go with the roses that'll be lining it, but it's just the lining of the pocket, so I don't know if I should like be that picky about it. So as I said, I've tried to film this 3 times and I keep telling the same story. Last week, you'll notice I didn't get a lot of videos up. I think I'm going to switch. I think we're going to do this. Yeah? I think I'm going to turn it so that there's polka dots. Yeah, it goes this way. All right, we're going to go like this. We're going to butt it right up against here. I'm going to line it up with the edges that I have. Okay, and we're going to squish it down. Oops. Try and get it all the way over to that edge, because it is not wanting to. Come on, you can do it. That's probably close enough. Okay. All right, now what I was talking about before, well, what I was just talking about with you was the fact that I didn't get any videos out last week. I got my stuff out on Monday, I got the kit released, and then I didn't get any further. And that had to do with one day of rain that caused a makeup day on an after-school activity, and my week was shot. So Monica does an after-school activity, and she gets out of school at 2:38. They have such weird times. She gets out of school at 2:38, but her after-school activity doesn't start until 5:30, and it's outside. So, and it's Mondays and Wednesdays. So normally on Mondays and Wednesdays, we stay until it's time for the activity, and that usually goes till about 6:30, 7 o'clock. And then we drive home. Well, home is, all right, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this. Home is almost an hour away. So we don't get home till 7:30 or 8. Oh, I know what I can do first. Cut this part off. Anyway, all right, so I've covered. Now I'm going to cut off all of the stuff I don't need, is basically what we're after here. I just want to cut off everything that is not necessary to the project, which at this point is anything that's not glued down. So I glued down everything I needed. So I have a strip there, and that's going to come off, so I don't care about that. I mean, I guess it depends. This is the first time I tried this. On the other one, I just covered them and then did it. So I guess it depends on how easy this ends up being as far as cutting all these panels. But you basically have your book covered before you put it together. Yeah, that's going to need trimming. All right, let me just... So anyway... So her after-school activity, and we get home between 7:30 and 8 o'clock at night. Now, we've been out since we leave the house around 6:45-ish. So, you know, I've been gone all day. But they don't drive back and forth because of, you know, how far away it is and how much gas it uses and all that kind of stuff. So, on those days when I'm really late like that, I don't have any time to get anything done. And on the other 2 days, you know, I come home. I don't have a ton of time because we still have to go to bed early. So on the other days, I come home. I usually try to make some dinner. We get some dinner or something like that. And I just don't have a lot of time during the week. So it ends up being... This is going to bug me. Can I just tell you how much this is going to bug me? All right, let's see if we can get this sliver of white off of here. It ends up being that I don't have any time to work on anything during the week after I get her home. And this week, it was especially difficult because the weather... I'll get this story out eventually. The weather happened on Wednesday. It was raining. Well, she couldn't do her after school stuff because it was raining, and she had to make it up on Thursday. Well, all the kids live nearby that are participating in the activity except for us. So they tried to wait it out, and he didn't announce the fact that we weren't meeting until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he makes the announcement. Well, by then, my Wednesday was shot anyway, and There you have it. Okay, so if this is my front, now we need to get our creases back. This is why I'm kind of doing this one piece at a time this time. And I'm going to get my creases back. So I want this to be my front cover. So let me get my bone folder. Sorry, I stopped to talk, and then I hope that doesn't interfere with you understanding what I'm doing. So if I've folded it like that, and this is my book, this is my cover. So this is this front bit. So what we got to do now is fold this piece up. So let's get this crease back. Okay, and we'll fold this bit up like that. All right, and that makes our pocket on the front. Okay, we've got a little bit of raggedy stuff there. Okay, now, if you don't like where the paper lined up, you can always trim this a little bit, however you want to do it. I don't like the way this lined up, so I'm going to trim it. Of course, I could probably cover it up in decorating. I think I'm going to trim that pocket with some lace or something anyway. So that was probably unnecessary. Now, what I was talking about before was the closer you can get, the less of a gap you'll have between the edge of your pocket and the back edge of your book. Back here. But, I mean, I just cut the spots too wide. I can also refold this a little bit. They don't like to refold once you've given them a spot. They don't like to change, but sometimes you can get them to. All right, so that's my front pocket. Now, I did line both sides of this, but I'm going to glue this pocket down, and we'll have this one done. You know what I should do, since we're doing more? I don't know what I'm going to do with the top of this pocket, so I'm going to just like that. Oh, actually no, because I'm probably going to ink, just in case. I am going to ink. Okay, so, and this is my flap, so something will get glued up under here. Let me see, I'll show you. So I'll glue up under here like this, and I'll glue here and right along the fold, and we'll make a flip with an up tuck, and it'll flip up like that. And you can use this space for whatever you want. Okay. Now these are also already covered, and this is, oops, go ahead and get these creased. This is this part, where you slide the thing in. So for this one, we're going to round these corners. I keep checking my computer to see if it's crashed again. All right, now we're going to close this over. Now, actually, it's easier to glue paper to it when it's open. So I'm going to open this back up. So we're going to open that up, and we're going to put in, okay, this is going to be very interesting because what I have to put in here now is pink and this, which I don't think will look bad, but it's definitely going to be interesting. The other thing is I only need to cover the inside. I don't need to cover any of these. Wait, let me think about this one. Actually, no, I need to cover this one. So again, we're covering one of them on the inside. Okay, so we're going to put it in here like this. Yes? Let me decide. I want lots of polka dots. This is probably going to be my better bet. Although, yeah, that'll give me lots of polka dots. Okay. All right, so we're going to do it again. We're going to cover all of this and this. So while I'm gluing, so she So that messed up my week. What I've decided is what I really need to do, if I can get all my computer stuff and everything to cooperate with me, what I really need to do is get ahead. And my plan had been this weekend to start getting ahead, like film a couple videos. But this one, I have been working on this. It is 11:30 at night. I have been working on this since 7:30. So with the crashing and the computer updates and all the stuff that I went through and tried to, solve the problems and all that, 4 hours I have been trying to get this video recorded. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get myself ahead this weekend. Because then now she has Monday off. They have a day off. I don't remember why. I'd have to look at the school calendar again. I think it's a teacher training thing. But, so I was like, oh, I have an extra day. Well, something has come up, and now I have to go. I also thought I was going to save on gas because I didn't have to go anywhere, but now I have to go about an hour. I have to make an hour. It's about an hour and 10 minutes one way. Maybe a little less. But, so I'm basically doing a run to school anyway, and then later in the day, the after school activity that she has at 5 on Mondays is still happening. So, and it's in the other direction. So if my house is in the middle, her activity is in the other direction 50 minutes. So I'm going to be doing like a week's worth of driving tomorrow, or Monday. I don't know. Sorry, I'm cleaning up. Okay. I think that about gets it, so we'll cut this one out. So yeah, that's pretty much my crazy that's going on. I mean, it is what it is. It's not like it's... I mean, you have to just kind of deal with what comes for your day and whatever you make of it. So I get in here and I record when I can, and when I can't, I don't come see you guys. That's why it's important, by the way, for you to turn on your notification bell. Because I can't, with this schedule I'm on now, I can't always regularly get videos up. So you got to turn on that notification bell so that when I do get a video up, you know that I have posted something. And you can come in here and watch me fumble around with paper. Because I imagine watching me do this is hysterical. Okay. So we're going to get all of this trimmed. And then we're going to put our creases back. So every time I put a piece of paper down, I put my creases back in. So that everything is still marked. I keep looking up at I said that. I keep looking. I just checked again. Everything seems to be okay. I keep thinking I should just stop. Because I can daisy chain segments of video together. I keep thinking I should just stop here and like start another one. So that at least what I've filmed so far I can keep. Because when it dies, I lose the footage. Okay, let's fold this. And then you might see an edit. I am paranoid now. After losing it, after doing it twice, I'm like utterly paranoid. Okay, and then this flips up. So I'm going to go ahead and put this crease in. These are all good. They do not get covered this way. They get covered with the fabric I'm going to put on the back, which means we're going to have pink lace on top of this blue. So, I mean, what are you going to do? All right, let's flip it over, and we're going to cover. So this time we're covering everything except that. So I'm going to leave that folded. Get all that out from under there. And, okay, so, here we go. This is the one. So now what I want to do is I want to figure out, I think I'm going to glue it down like this. Oops, like that. So that I get this wood kind of separating the spots. So, I don't know if you can see that. The top of this piece of paper, there's some bare wood up here. There's a lot of it's getting lost because of the tab. But I do want to cover the tab, so just going to have to be what it is. Alright, let's go ahead and glue on this panel. So all of these panels that I've got unfolded get covered. Alright. This bottle's almost out. Uh-oh. Might really be almost out. Okay. I'll have to open another one. Alright. I've been noticing that it seems to crease better if I make sure that I get the paper actually stuck down to the fold. Especially if I have to fold it in on itself. If I have to fold it in on itself, it definitely works a lot better if I get glue on that crease. Hopefully this bottle will just get me through this glue down, and then if it wants to run out, it's more than welcome. So yeah, first thing in the morning on Monday, I have to run take care of something. And when I get back, I'm hoping to get some editing, filming. I'm hoping to get a video. I'm hoping you see this Monday. But like I said, the way my weekend is going, who the heck knows? Okay. So that's that. And then we're going to put this on here. And I got to make sure that I get here and here. So everything is covered. All right, let's flip it over and make sure glue is out to all the edges. Especially these corners, because when I go to cut around them, if they're not glued down, sometimes they get, like, the paper, my scissors get between the paper and the folder. And then I end up cutting off a piece of the decorative paper, and I've got a piece of file folder sticking out. So I like to try and get all the corners and everything, make sure everything's got glue under it. Now, a lot of times that means I'm squishing glue out everywhere and making a mess, but 'tis what it is. Okay, let's cut this one free. We're going to start with this seam back here, because I feel like this will be the easiest place to start. Yeah, so my 3-day weekend isn't quite turning out as planned. The other thing is today, I could have gotten started earlier than 7:30 and then everything would have been fine, but I kept getting interrupted. Of course, first I had to make dinner. But the other thing that happened was I've mentioned that my son has a YouTube channel he does gaming. It's in my description box. It's always in my description box. And he recently, the older of my two daughters, who are actually my younger two kids, but the older of my two daughters has moved into her own apartment. And her bedroom was free. And my sons, who are very close together in age, have always, like, from the time they were very young, shared a bedroom, in the houses that we've lived in. I missed school there. And when she moved out, because my daughters are further apart in age, so it was harder for them to share space. They did for a little while, and then the teenager got too old, and the other one was still too young, and it wasn't working. So anyway, when she moved out, the younger of my two sons claimed her room. Well, it changed where he records, and now it's it sounds different. This folds up. Get it out of my way. My brown folder. I'll fold this up and get it out of my way. But anyway, so this one will fold up. This one gets cut off to be the double pocket here. Okay? But where he was compared to where he is, the room is like an echo chamber now. And he tried recording videos in it, and he got all kinds of noise anomalies that he couldn't edit out. He couldn't get them out. There was just too much of it. So him and my husband went online the other day and ordered some little foam sound dampening tile things to put all over the wall in that room, which I don't care about. My daughter stuck stuff to the wall. Those walls are going to have to be redone anyway, so I'm not really worried about that. But he got these tiles. Well, they came in today, and he was all frustrated with how the adhesive was working, because it wasn't. And I went in there to try and calm him down and talk to him about it, and we looked at it, and I said, well, maybe because it's these little adhesive squares that go on the back of this foam. They're just little thin foam pads. Okay. Now, what are we doing here? Oh yeah, this is my flap. So this is the top of my envelope flap. And then something will get glued here and be the bottom. All right? Bone folder. Bone folder this. All right, and we're gonna get our other piece for our lower pocket down here. So basically what I do is I make sure that I've got the edge of this and the edge of this in line with my ruler. And then hopefully when I cut this pocket off, this will be the same height as the rest of the folio. That's my goal. My other goal is to not cut. Oh, I didn't. Okay. Good. I thought I had cut my flap. Okay. Now, let's start gluing stuff. Shall we glue stuff? Let's glue stuff. Okay, so. Oh no, don't tell me it's too wide. Is it really? All that trouble I went to and you're still too wide. You know what? You're going to get refolded. I'm not having it. I've been through enough on this video. Daggone it. Okay, I think that's good. Now the idea would be to ink it. Any of the spots that you want to ink need to be inked. And any punching you want to do. So I want to round this. And I want to round this. Like so. This will go in here. I also want to notch them. So let's notch this one. I usually notch this one off to this side. And then I notch this one off to this side. Like that. Now I get my pieces placed. Why is that so much wider than the... I need to cut about a hair off of here. Sorry. I get my pocket placed and then I mark it. And that way I know exactly where to place it when I take it off again to glue it. To put glue on the back of it. Okay, now it's not exactly a rounded corner anymore, but I don't think I can... kind of. Okay. All right, so we're going to place this down where we want it. Just like that. Over there. Okay, and then I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to put a mark in here where it'll be hidden. Okay? And that'll allow me to take care of that. Let me get... Did I want to use this again? This is what I've been using, but I don't think this will look good on here. Okay, I think we're going to do Victorian Velvet. So let's go ahead and ink this since I've got it out here and ready to go. And then we'll go through and do the rest. And I think the pink will be fun even on the blue pockets. And I chose this because it's not bright, so it's not going to stand out too much. But I think it'll be fun on, especially on the page, on the stuff that doesn't have any pink on it. So it'll tie the pink in on those pages. All right. Let's get gluing. I'm starting here because I cut this pocket loose. I don't want to lose it. So we're going to go ahead and put this down. So anyway, so I was helping my son with these because he was pulling the, so it came with these sheets of these little square adhesive pieces, and you're supposed to peel them off their backing paper, and then they have a little piece of like cellophane or, you know, clear backing on top of that. So you take it off and you stick it to the back of the foam, and then you peel the backing off of that and you stick it to the wall. So, right? And he would stick it to the foam, and then he would try to peel the backing, the little plastic backing off so that he could stick it to the wall, but it would take the adhesive off the foam instead of peeling the backing off the adhesive and leaving the adhesive on the foam. And I told him, I said, well, some adhesives are a little bit time sensitive. So basically what you have to do is stick it on there with the backing on it and leave it so that the adhesive, like, they become more permanent over time. Some stickers, some tapes, they you put it on there, and it's not permanent right away, but it becomes permanent as it sits on the piece. I know you guys have dealt with that before. I can't remember the last place I read that had that kind of, but a lot of stickers and tapes and things will tell you that they're repositionable for a short period of time, and then after a certain period of time they become permanent. So that's basically what these were. So you had to stick them and let them sit, and I went in there and I helped him for a while. We were just sticking these to the backs of these foam pads and letting them sit. So I spent some time doing that instead of doing this to help out my son, and no good deed and all that. But he's hoping that this will help with it's a like echo and noise and stuff that happens on his videos that he's hoping this will stop. I don't know if it will, but I'm hoping that it works for him. But I spent time doing that instead of doing this, and so here we are. And like I said, and then Monday I have stuff to do. And of course, Sunday mornings I have Mass, and I mean, all the other household stuff that you normally have to do, I have all that, and it just piles up, and I don't have time to get, oh no, this doesn't get glued. Oh, this did need to be lined though, because it flips up. Shoot. I missed one. This whole thing needed to be lined. Okay, well, I'll have to line that later. I'm not going to do it right now. I want to get this other stuff glued and inked and all of that. Okay, let's get these other ones inked, and then we'll see about making maybe the flaps for the two flip-ups, or for the flip-up and the flip-down, as the case may be. There's a piece right here that's torn that I'm going to put a little glue behind. It keeps popping up. So we're going to stick that down, I hope. Okay. And this I refolded, so hopefully it will stay put. If I can just get this, at this point, I'll just be happy if I can get this video recorded. I just started a new, with all these new expenses we have now, I was canceling some channels, and we were talking about, just start collecting the TV shows we like to watch on, like Blu-rays or DVDs or something over time. Because a lot of times I'll go back and watch the same TV shows over again, because I don't like anything that's on TV currently. Although right now I am going through the Chicago series. Does anybody watch those? I had never seen them. I started watching Chicago PD because I'm the detective type. And I got to the beginning of season 6, I think. And I was making note of the fact that they do a lot of crossing over in the Chicago series. I mean, they're constantly running into each other, dating each other. There's a Chicago Fire, a Chicago PD, and a Chicago Med. Chicago Fire was the first one. And then one season later, you got Chicago PD, and now a few seasons after that, you got Chicago Med. So I started with the wrong one, but I started with Chicago PD, and now what I'm trying to do is get caught up to where I should be in Chicago Fire to meet up with where I am in Chicago PD. And I'm going to do the same with Chicago Med. All right, now we got a couple things to do. First of all, apparently I did not do that, so let's do that. Let's crease the back, and we're going to crease the front. Oops. Oh, I didn't glue the front pocket on. All right, we'll do that too. And I am, like I said, I'm working my way through. So with the way I'm calculating it out, I'm on episode 1 of season 6 for Chicago PD, which means I need to be on episode 1, season 7 for Chicago Fire. I will say this. I haven't watched Chicago Med yet, but there have been medical dramas. Well, I mean, there's tons of medical dramas on TV. With ER being the most famous one that kicked it all off years and years and years ago. All right, and there you have it. The only thing we need to do, I'm going to make this one a gusset one. That's why I lined the pockets real good. So I'm going to need stuff for that, and I need flip pieces. So give me just a second. Okay, I got this little recollections pad, and it's pink. It's called Little Princess Paper Pad. I thought it would be perfect for this. So we are going to get some pages out of here and use them for our flips and our gussets. So let me see what I got in here. I mean, the gussets don't really have to be anything too fancy. I kind of want them to go with maybe this. Okay, so I'm going to fold down this way. I should be able to get 2 gussets out of it. Well, actually, I could probably get more than that, but definitely 2. So anyway, where was I? Boring you with my TV watching. So I'm getting caught up. Now, as I was saying, there have been medical dramas on TV before. And of course, detective shows. I mean, there's detective shows everywhere. And they've been around forever. Because you can, and I tried to explain to my kids, a detective show is easier to make, I feel like, than a fire. Because they're not fire investigators. They're just fire and rescue. And the paramedics are at the firehouse. So you have the paramedics, and then you have fire and rescue. Okay, and we're going to have to trim these. Following this firehouse, you get all the drama, right, that's going on in their lives outside of the firehouse, because pretty much the only thing you can do with a fire drama is they get called out on a rescue, they do the rescue or put out the fire or whatever, and then they go back to the house. There's nothing else to it. There's no investigating. There's no finding clues. There's none of that. Now, every once in a while, they'll get involved in an investigation of a fire. But usually, it's getting involved in the lives of somebody they rescued, or it's the background lives of the firefighters. So you kind of get to know them. So it's kind of like a nighttime soap opera, for lack of a better way to put it. And that's just, I mean, I don't know, the nature of these kinds of shows, I guess. I don't know. All right, so we're going to put gussets on here. I'm going to trim these. I think I'm just going to trim them straight across. I'm just going to take a little bit off at the top, like that. And I'm going to take a little bit off. Ooh, I made that one bigger or wider. Wasn't intentionally. But I'm kind of just freehand folding them, so, you know, they turn out how they turn out. But I thought it would be fun to have that showing. So basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them down to one side, and then we're going to fold them over and glue them to the, and then we're going to put glue on the other side and fold them over. So yeah, so it's my first fire show. And I like the actors. I think that helps a lot, is the fact that if you didn't like the people, I mean, for the most part, I like the people. Now, there are a few that get on my nerves sometimes, but it's generally not the whole show. I mean, they'll get on my nerves one episode, something they're doing. But for the most part, I like everybody. And then I have some favorite characters that I like all the time. Although every once in a while, the writers will write them. It's almost like they write them out of character for some reason, and you don't like what they're doing. And you're like, they would never do that. I don't understand why you're suddenly making them be that way. But so goes it with TV dramas, I suppose. And right now, I see I need to get to the top of season 7, and I think right now I'm in season 5. So, and I don't watch that one as often because my son, who moved upstairs, he watches the Chicago shows with me. So it has to be on an evening, now that he works and I do the school thing, and it has to be on an evening where we both have time to sit and watch like maybe one episode, which is what we've been doing. So like he'll get home from work and we'll do dinner and we do all kinds of stuff, and then we sit down for the last hour before we go to bed and we watch one episode. That's pretty much what it's been these last, is we get one episode in. Okay, so I just glue the gusset down to one side, and then I put glue on the other side and close it up. Okay, and then you have a nice wide pocket for a journal, because this itself is not necessarily intended. I mean, you could sew pages in there, I guess, but this itself is not necessarily intended to be a journal. That's also not intended to be glued down yet. Okay, now let's see if we can do the same thing with some paper for this. And I'm thinking, not plaid. This is kind of a cardstock. Ooh, maybe polka dots. And I'm thinking it's a good height. All right, it's not a great width, but it's good height. All right, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to mark. I'm not going to get real technical. We're just going to mark with a pencil right here off to this one side. And I don't even have to cut that cut line off. That'll keep it nice and long. Since it's not the same length as the thing, I don't want to get it any shorter. And we're going to cut at our pencil mark. I'm actually going to cut just to the one side of the pencil mark. Just the inside of the pencil mark. And anyway, so once I get to season, what did I say, 7, the top of season 7, then I'm going to go get caught up with Chicago Med, which I think is, I need to get to season 4, I think, in Chicago Med. All right, now. Okay, so the way this is going to work, I'm going to glue this down as an up tuck, right? Let me, not that one, this one. So let me do all my inking and whatnot. And we'll do the up tuck thing. So I usually put a little bit along this fold just because I want to make sure that it holds at the back. Not to mention the fact that because this is going to be a flip up, it won't close. The fold isn't going to keep it closed. So you got to glue there. Otherwise, when you flip it up, that'll be open. Does that make sense? Everybody? Okay, so we're going to glue that on there like that. Get my foam folder and squish that down all the way around. And then lift it up. Now, if I didn't put glue here, when I flip this up, that would be open there. So you don't want that to be open. And this is going to be a flip up. And yes, I know there's a hole there because I kept that for the length. But this is going to get covered. I'm going to cover the back of this. Probably with some of this. I don't know if I have any that's already cut that's wide enough, so I'll probably have to use this piece. But I have these cut-off scraps. Is that long enough? Yeah. Okay, so I'll just probably use a piece of this. If I have any left in here, I do. I can feel it. It's got weight. Okay, I just don't want to get any glue in that hole because that will close my up tuck. So I just have to be careful right there. So I'm going to put all glue all the back of this. I want it to be sticky up there because I want it to hold, but I don't want to get glue in that circle. Okay, I'll put this down on here. Just like that, hopefully. Good. And then if we think we got any seepage into there, we can just, oh, interesting. What's my foam folder leaving marks on my paper? Sorry, I found an air bubble. I'm just trying to see if I can work it out. Okay. And we're going to flip it over and we're going to cut all this off. See, this is printing scraps. So I'm using up, this is almost like going out into my stash and just getting stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to use up anything and everything I can. Here lately with all these hauls, I've been trying to find places to put everything. So it's like trying to use up stuff. But anyway. Alright, so this will give us our flip up in the front. And again, you can ink this. I'm going to clip these corners with a little bit of a bigger round. Okay. And because this doesn't go all the way down, I could put like a little tab on there or something to tie in with the file folder theme. You know, anything you want to do in that respect. And now you've got a little tuck up here, and then you flip this up and you've got some journaling space. Sorry, I know. Should turn it this way so it flips up. Okay, and then when you close this, you've got the coffee dye peeking out. You could decorate the edge of your little thing here so that what you see on there is decorative instead of that. Okay, and then our other one was a flip down. So let's go over here and see. I still think I'm going to use from this pad. Only this time we'll probably have to cut off that top piece. I wonder if I could do this. Okay, so let me get... Alright. It's kind of fun being able to use some of this extra stuff. Okay. Now this back panel, you'll notice there's not a lot to cut off. This doesn't come very far over. This back panel is wider. It's the back panel of the file folder, and they're always wider than the front panel of the file folder. All right, so I'm going to do what I always do. One straight edge, straight, and then the pencil mark lines up on a line. And we cut on the line. Even with prep, I'm running way over. This is going to be a long one, guys. Sorry. I was trying really hard to... Like, I thought since I had stuff already ready that it wouldn't go long, but here we are. I also have to cut this off because I don't want this one here this time. And I'm hoping it's still tall enough to... It just needs to go underneath. It just has to get underneath here. Ooh, I cut it a little too narrow, actually. All right, let's get some ink on these. Because I cut that too narrow, so I want to cover this. Oh, and actually I have to decide what I'm covering. This one I have to do in the opposite direction, because what's going up against the tuck is the writing surface. So I have to decide what I'm covering the back of this with. Guys. Okay, so what's going up against here, like this, when I open this up, see how that's on the white? So I need to cover this first. Is there enough left on here? No, it's not wide enough. Okay, so no more of that. Those are all too narrow. I don't know what I want to cover the back of that with. So basically what I'll do, I'm gonna like tell you, this gets glued down like the other one did, a tuck. And then you'll be able to tuck when you flip this down, and then this will flip up like this, and then this will come down on top of there like that. And that'll be your back panel. And then you can use this for whatever you want. You can put a flippy pad here, you could put pockets here, you could, you know, whatever you want to do. You could just frame a piece of journaling paper in there. Whatever you want to do with this space. And you have a little kind of faux enveloped style flip down. Now, if it's not staying closed for you, you can also put a policy closure on there, put a little piece of Velcro. Maybe since I haven't put this together yet, I could stick a magnet in there and then another magnet on here and then cover this up. And it could be a magnet closure. However you want to take care of closing that off. And then you close it up and you've got your little book with a space for a journal. So, I finally got through it, guys. Third time's a charm, I guess. So these are a lot of fun to make. I have another base to cover. I have these two that I made that still need some finishing touches. And this one that we got done together. So, I hope you guys like these. Like I said, Alyssa's channel will be in my description box. I'm going to try and link the video that I got this from. But if I can't... find it again because I watch it on the TV and not on my computer, so I don't know. And then I'll try and link the video, and then I will see you guys as soon as I can. Hopefully, at least if nothing else, by next Monday, and we'll tackle another file folder project. So I'll see you guys then. Goodbye and God bless.